Senator Manchin, you asked why do we still import? One, we can't get natural gas from where it's produced up to New England. And so periodically they will import natural gas because the governor of New York will not allow pipelines to deliver low-cost, clean-burning natural gas to replace fuel oil in Manhattan or to supply gas for cold winters in New England. So I do think that's something to consider.
The only thing I would say as far as on importing from the standpoint, can we import from, if we're going to import, can we import from the United States?
Got it.
We got a lot of gas.
Yeah.
We're trying to get the pipelines there, too.
cheaper.
We're trying.
I'm going to speak to the SPR reform bill, Senate Bill 3618. And we know that Congress established the SPR after the oil embargoes of 1970. But now we use it for something besides energy reserve. We use it to preserve natural disaster protection, encourage a stable economy, and rightly or wrongly to pay for legislation that sometimes has nothing to do with energy. It's now mandated about 290 million barrels from the SPR will be sold over the next decade or so. So the legislation we've proposed would authorize DOE to lease up to 200 million barrels of storage capacity. Now, we think this is important because, one, it will help keep the SPR in good working order, saving taxpayers money by ensuring costs for upgrades are included in the lease agreement, and successfully doing so could attract investment into approving facility operations to be responsive to commercial needs. It will not increase the use of fossil fuels. Rather, it allows fossil fuels that are going to be used to be stored. And if you will, it exemplifies the original motto of the EPA. If you know that little circle of reduce, reuse, recycle, we are going to reuse and recycle capacity that otherwise would not be used. The carbon footprint will be lower because energy will not be used to create new caverns. Rather, we will just reuse and recycle and reduce the need for new capacity with this bill. That said, Mr. Menzies, does the department support this bill?
The department supports the goals of the bill and supports what the bill is attempting to do. The fact you and Chairman Barton outlaid the fact that the reason for the SPRO might not be as great. It was designed for strategic reasons. We now have ample supply, if you will, for our domestic use, although, as Senator Manchin mentioned, we do import some for reasons that you talked about. For us to be able to now put into our own economy, if you will, our any oil that's stored there, and it can be done in a way that continues to allow the caverns to function for the purposes that they were designed, we would not object to that goal.
Now, foreign governments have the capacity to, the ability to, under current law, to lease that space. Do we know of any foreign governments that are interested in doing so?
I'm not sure that we know that they are, but your point is a good one. So if, members of OECD that have an obligation to store oil, they can use our SPRO if they wish to lease.
So conceptually, we're really doing just for the commercial space, which we already allow for other countries.
That it was designed for.
Which is to lease the space.
Correct.
Now, I understand there will be technical difficulties. Right. In commercial space, you draw it more rapidly than you do under the current arrangements. There's been salt dome cave-ins in Louisiana. I'm concerned about this. But I gather there's also technical solutions to this issue?
Yeah, Sandia has been doing some modeling on it, and thank you for raising that question. We are well aware of the potential technical challenges. I mean, we use water right now to have the oil, to get it out of the caverns. We would probably need to, and that corrodes some of the walls because it's salt domes and water. So we would need a brine solution, if you will, so you wouldn't have the
And that technology exists because it's already done.
The technology exists. The question is, we need to modernize some of the facilities because they are, in one case, aged facilities. So we're modernizing them. Then we have plans to spend about $1 billion, over $1 billion for that.
Just to make the point that this SPR is already located where the refineries are that produce the refined products for the rest of the country and indeed parts of the world. So it's strategically located, hence the name, SPR. But also the modernization could be paid for by the revenue from this commercial lease, correct?
I think that's the way that Congress has set it up.
That's the way the bill is written. So we need $1 billion. We could use the revenue from the leasing to pay for this upgrade that would ensure long-term viability and environmental soundness. I ask my colleagues for support, and I yield back.
Thank you, Senator Cassidy. Senator